So my name is Tom, and I am a community chaplain in Ashford in Kent. We moved here 18 months ago to do this specific job. So I'm employed full-time by the local Methodist United Reformed congregation to work on this new housing estate that's slowly growing on the outskirts of Ashford. So I started the job in 2020, which, as I'm sure you'll all remember, was not the easiest year for starting anything at all. I had the job interview at the end of February 2020. We went back, we talked to the church I was working for, we talked to the youth group that I was leading, talked to our own children, and explained to everyone how we were going to leave well, how we were going to have plenty of time for everyone to say goodbye and plenty of time for everyone to do all the things and tie up all the loose ends. And then we got to March and we got to lockdown. My children went to school on Friday, and then they never saw any of their friends from there ever again. And that was what happened. It was quite a challenge leaving in that way. And we made the best of what we could, but we left in the middle of a pandemic. We didn't get to say our goodbyes in perhaps the way we would have wanted, and we certainly didn't arrive in the way that we wanted either. When we actually moved to Ashford, the house wasn't finished because of the pandemic, and so we had to live in a whole different town for 4 months while we tried to get things sorted. So I was living in Folkestone instead of Ashford, and driving the children to school in Ashford every morning, and then working in the church hall during the day, and then taking them home again. It wasn't the ideal start to a job where it's all about getting people together in groups when you weren't allowed to even go and talk to them. So it was difficult. But we made good use of that time. We did a lot of praying. We did a lot of walking around the neighbourhood, or where the neighbourhood will be. We did a lot of contacting people on Zoom that we could. And once we finally did move in just before Christmas in 2020, we realised actually that journey is reflected in the journey of everyone around us too. So actually it wasn't just our house that was delayed. It was most of the houses down this part of the road that we were on. And it wasn't just our problems. It was everyone's problem. So actually living here on the estate amongst these people, we were all on a journey together. We've all journeyed through the pandemic together. And that's a real advantage. And that's one of the great things about being in this role, and the vision that the church had to put me here, or put me and my family here, is that actually it's not just me going to a church. It's me going to a whole place. It's me going to a place that isn't sort of within a boundary of what church ought to look like or could be. It's not with people who would have any interest in moving inside the church boundaries yet. But it's a really exciting opportunity because we are on a journey. We're on a journey with our neighbours in this new place. So it's really exciting. So since we kind of got through the pandemic stuff, we've been able to do a little bit more of normal life. So we've been living life as much as anything. That's been the main focus of the job. So we've been my sons play football in the streets, or now there is a little patch of grass, so they're able to play football on the grass. And gradually, as more and more people have moved in, more and more children have joined them to play football on the grass. Now, if we weren't living here, my boys wouldn't be playing football on that grass. They wouldn't be getting to know the kids. I wouldn't be having these opportunities to talk to the parents. And by being present in that place, we're able to make connections that just would not be possible otherwise. So we've been living the life. We've been journeying with people. When the storm hit quite badly in this part of Kent, every house down our road lost tiles. Every house down the road lost tiles in exactly the same place, and the developer refused to take any responsibility for it. So there was, again, a community building opportunity there. It was frustrating and it was annoying and it was difficult because everyone was trying to find roofers. In fact, it felt like the whole of Kent was trying to find roofers, and our roof only got done eventually 11 weeks later. But for all of us, it's the same journey. It's the same problems. It's the same things that we're sharing. So what have I actually been doing here? So one thing is I've personally visited every house. So we're close to 200 homes now after 18 months. Eventually, there'll be 6,000 houses on this new estate. At the moment, I've visited everyone. I'm aiming, as long as I'm here, to keep on doing that. So potentially one day I will have visited all 6,000 homes on this new estate. And I'm already realizing that doesn't mean I will know everyone on this estate. So there's a lot of people around that I don't recognize. Maybe they didn't answer the door when I popped round to visit them and to welcome them. Maybe I only met their partner, or maybe it's just that people walk, their dogs in the field next door to our house, and they could be from anywhere. But I certainly won't know all the people once we get to 6,000 homes. But by being there, by visiting them, by saying hi and welcoming them, they might know me. So they're more likely to remember my face in a way than I am to remember theirs. And that's a great opportunity as well. And one of the things I found encouraging and hopeful about doing that is that people are actually quite pleased to see you. My experience of delivering things for church and knocking on people's doors has generally not been very well received. It's generally, people are quite disappointed that you're there. But when you're in a new place and it's a new house, they're excited that someone's come to the door. They're excited that you're there. They're really pleased that something is happening in their community. So I found there's three things, and I'll do this bit quickly, that there are three things. The first thing is to find the needs. And so by visiting people, there are a lot of young parents, a lot of babies around their legs, toddlers crawling around as I knocked on the doors. So the first thing we started was a toddler group, because that was a big need, and especially with the pandemic and children maybe not being able to meet other children. If you're 3 years old, then most of your life has been during the pandemic. The other main need has been kind of chaplaincy to support people who have had issues with one of the developers on site who've been particularly poor. So supporting them through that. So looking for the needs. There's lots of other things as well. Then taking the opportunities. There was a group of people who really wanted to do an Easter egg trail. So I got them together and we organised an Easter egg trail. It was something that was sort of floating around on Facebook, and it just took someone for them to build it around. So I took the lead, but they did all the work. It was the ideal situation. So we had an Easter egg trail, and we had refreshments, and we had conversation, and we built relationships. And it was great, but it just took me to say, oh, that's an opportunity for me to do that. Similarly, someone wanted to do the local pub quiz. So I joined the team, and a group of us go in every month. And again, that relationships are building really nicely through that. And then following the spirit as well. One thing I was trying to do when I arrived was make sure that there was a clear line between the work that I was doing on the estate and the extra stuff that the church wanted me to do with their congregation. But actually, the Spirit has moved through that as well, and we've restarted the church, Messy Church, but we've moved it to the school adjacent to our estate, and that has exploded. That's been fantastic. We've had sort of 60 or 70 people coming along to Messy Church, and it's not about the numbers, but it's been great. Messy Church was not something that I was a huge fan of, but actually, if it's working, I'm going to do it. If God's bringing people along, then I want to be there taking that opportunity. And Messy Church, as it turns out, has become this great thing for not just people on the estate, but people who are loosely linked to the church or loosely linked to the school. It's becoming a really good sort of meeting place and a great opportunity for them to worship and grow together. So I'll just finish with a verse from the Bible that's been particularly encouraging for me. And it's 1 Thessalonians 2 verse 8, which said, "Because we loved you so much, we were delighted to share with you not only the gospel of God, but our lives as well." That's kind of the motto that I've been following, that actually I'm trying to be here to love this community, to share Jesus's love with them, but not only to share the gospel, but to live my life with them and to love them through living life with them. There's a lot of L's, but that's the end of my speech. So thank you very much.